Recording in progress.
And also, when you're done, leave the notes at the end because she gives me these stories.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the UU community of Halifax. My name is Ben Robbins, and I'm glad to be your minister. Our mission is to provide a community that nurtures personal and spiritual growth, practices inclusiveness, celebrates diversity, and affirms individual and collective commitment to community service and social justice. We are loving, open-minded, and committed to transforming the world. Please see the announcements in the order of service and note that open mic night is this Wednesday, and today at 11:45 there is a no prep book club, all welcome. And Faith has just put a sign-up sheet out in the ballroom to sign up for a potluck after service on March 16th in honor of St. Patrick's Day.
And spring.
And I heard spring doesn't come until May here.
Well,
The Groundhog Day of spring, yeah.
Year.
If St. Patrick comes, sees his shadow. Okay. Okay. Thank you to all the volunteers and staff who make our Sunday services possible. Pam Griffin-Hody is our service assistant. We have Riley Friesen on tech, Tristan Kellaway on keys. A special thank you today to Tracy and Deb who helped launch our monthly youth gathering. Thank you so much. So on Friday night, we had 9 youth and several parents come together for games nights. So really fabulous. If you're new or we haven't met, I'd love to say hello after the service. Now we have Leslie Robinson with our land and climate acknowledgement.
Good morning. Every Sunday, we acknowledge 2 important facts. The first is that we are living in the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people, a relationship still subject to the peace and friendship treaties of the 1700s. The spirit of those treaties are still valuable guides for life in today's Nova Scotia, where many nationalities now live. And the second fact we acknowledge each week is that every human being is facing a climate emergency, where a warmer atmosphere threatens our food supplies, our water resources, our clean air, and increases the risks of fire, floods, and hurricanes. We ignore these dangers at our global peril. So when President Trump announced that he is withdrawing the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement, which was signed in 2015, he sent shockwaves around the world. In addition, his administration intends to promote fossil fuel expansion rather than sustainable energy development. This is discouraging when carbon emissions need to be rapidly reduced. However, I heard this week that in response, lots of US citizens have now jumped into climate action projects in a big way as a counterbalance to Trump's policies. In fact, religious groups have joined in these developments and these protests. In fact, 839 religious communities, including Unitarians, of course, have joined with businesses, universities and colleges, major investors, local governments, individual states, and tribal nations in declaring that they will continue the work and they will fulfill the US pledge in the Paris Climate Agreement. Now, the faith groups that are involved are active in different ways, and not just in protests like this one in Washington that you see on the screen. They're involved in lots of different ways: public policy advocacy, helping places of worship become more sustainable, challenging corporations to embrace green practices, attending shareholder meetings and lobbying those companies to change their ways, and of course divesting from fossil fuels, plus many other ways as well. Very active, very energetic. As the saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough get going.
We enter into this time that we call worship, where we turn with intentions to do the things that are worthy of our intention, and we do this by lighting a chalice. Our chalice lighting words this morning are by Dale Hudson. This is a house of reflection and contemplation, of joy and sorrow, friendship, sharing, and laughter. We light this chalice in remembrance of what we have been and in the hope of what we may become.
Back in the fall, I told you a story that began with a wise elder telling me, picture in your mind what you want. If you want a car, picture a car. What color car? A yellow car. So picture a yellow car. Picture precisely every detail of what you want, and you will be amazed what happens. Years go by, I moved to Montreal to start fresh, try new things, find myself. A friend invites me to an improv dance jam, and I fall in love with it. I say, okay, Ben, remember what the wise elder told you. Picture the life you want in detail. So I want to live in a house with a dance studio. I want lots of housemates. I want lots of people passing through. I'm working in construction, and I want to keep doing that, but I want to be able to work barefoot because I hate wearing shoes. And then in less than a year, I'm the building and grounds manager at an improv dance retreat center, doing most of my job barefoot. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I didn't plan it. I didn't have strategic goals and an action plan. I was simply crystal clear about what I wanted, and it affected my day-to-day decisions and my willingness to dive into something when the opportunity came. So that's the story I told in the fall, but there's another piece to the story. After I found out about this dance center, I saw an advertisement for Cirque du Soleil. Cirque du Soleil needed somebody 6'8" tall, no skills required. So I'm not quite 6'8", but close enough. I'm in good physical shape. I love artistic spectacle. I picture myself touring with them for 2 years, working with acrobats, costume designers, seeing the world in an adventurous way. And they work their people extremely hard, and I love that. So I'm at a crossroads. Do I choose an international professional circus, or do I choose a down-to-earth, quirky community? I meditate on what the wise elder told me. Picture in your mind precisely what you want. Do I want performance? Do I want community? The temptation is so strong to choose the circus adventure. But I pause, take a breath, and I make my choice. Please rise and body your spirit for our opening hymn. It's number 347 in the gray hymnal, Gather the Spirit. And the lyrics are going up on the screen.
Now we will take time to recognize our collective and individual joys, sorrows, and complex truths. We bring our hearts into this sacred space of community, and we open them up to each other, for each other, so that those of us who carry pain might be comforted by the presence of a loving community, so that those of us who are happy and well might share our joy and see it multiply in others. And so those of us who carry complex truths might find a welcoming space to process and make meaning of all that life brings. So if you have a story, a joy, sorrow, or complex truth on your heart that needs to be spoken in community, we invite you to share. And we invite you to drop a stone to mark your story and remind you that you were not alone. Yellow light off to use mic. Mic working? Have I finally figured this out? People can come up or we can take the mic to you. You need to speak in the mic so the people in Zoom can hear. Yellow light. Oh, I can't follow directions on a piece of paper in front of me. No, yellow light's on. Jeez. Now, okay, fine. Sorry about all of that. See, I told you I'm incapable of using this mic. I have my problems too. What? No, the yellow light's off now.
Just a quick note this morning. I talked to Glenda early last week, and I really felt a difference. She had energy in her voice, and she said, I'm really getting better. So she asked me to pass that along to you people.
Does anybody want me to bring the mic to them? Riley, is there anyone on Zoom? No. Oh, are you coming up, Amy? Okay.
Hi, my name's Amy Moonshadow, pronouns she, her. Even if you don't travel on Metro Transit, I would like everybody in this room to call them and tell them to clean the stops. It is frightening. And as a result, there are probably a lot of people that aren't traveling because there are 2 feet of ice, solid ice, at every bus stop going.
Put a stone in, Amy. And I'm going to put a stone in. Oh, you have one online. Okay.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I have a Joy, our daughter-in-law, very smartly with her family and a suspicion about the BRCA gene, went and researched that, and it looks like she has come through after months like prophylactically removing her breasts and having a hysterectomy and is okay so far. So this is really, really great news. Thank you.
And I'm putting a stone in for all of the joys and the sorrows and the complex truths that remain in our hearts. And Tristan has a musical meditation for us called My Romance. Community is made possible by the offering of our individual skills, commitments, and gifts. And the truth is that we need each other and money to survive. And yet, nobody's worth and dignity is in any way measured by the amount of money they have or don't have to give. Many of us contribute by monthly pledge. Many of us don't. So during the offering, we invite you to offer what you can, if you can, to support this sanctuary of progressive spirituality. And today, any undesignated money in the collection plates will go to the operation of our wonderful community. Our offering hymn, which Tristan will play and you are going to sing while the baskets are going around, is 10:08, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Beautiful. Did anyone watch the hockey game on Thursday night? Bits of it? All right, well, we're in different worlds because I've been cheering for Canada since I was a kid, but this one felt different. This one had an extra ingredient in it. Nationalism lit up my veins this week, a lot more strongly than I'm used to. And it felt good. It felt good. Go Canada. That strengthened the feeling of we are a people. We got this. Whatever we need to do, we will figure this out. We'll do it maybe with a little maple syrup mixed in it. Bit of a feeling when we look at our neighbors down south, do not mess with us, or we might mess with you. Felt good. Felt good. And nationalism is playing with fire. Nationalism can separate you from the interdependent web. Nationalism can become your main identity rather than, say, your family, friends, neighbor, community, your fabulous subculture. Nationalism can bring loyalty tests. What do you mean you didn't watch the hockey game? Nationalism can crowd out other values. Being a people can be intoxicating, and it can take on a life of its own. So if we stand up to our southern neighbor by fighting fire with fire, we might become fire. So go Canada, go, but let's be clear what we mean by Canada. Let's be clear what we stand for. For example, to what extent do we believe in putting ourselves first, and to what extent do we believe in the golden rule? I don't know what's going to happen amidst everything going on in the world. Economic change, technological change, cultural change, environmental change. Don't know what's going to happen, but there will be change, and in the thrall of all of it, I want to make sure I have something orienting my life. When we sing the song Spirit of Life, sometimes there's the lyric, roots hold me close, wings set me free. So what roots are holding us close? What well do we drink from? What fire do we tend? Those of us who are atheists might be rooted in our values and in our vision. We believe in everyone's inherent worth and dignity. We believe in truth, justice, compassion, and other wonderful things. Those of us who are theists might be rooted in our God, staying rooted by daily prayer and channeling God's grace into our actions. Those of us who are pagan might be rooted in the earth and the web of life, inhabiting respect for the life force. And those of us who are mystics might be rooted in that awesome mystery we find ourselves within and surrounded by. In this congregation, we come together to honor and celebrate our roots, even if we don't agree what they are. Liberal religion does not mean we have no roots. It means that we value being together in a community that includes pluralistic beliefs about roots. There might be some general agreement about what we're rooted in. I'm gonna be bold and say we believe in love, the transformative power of love. And yes, we believe that transformation is possible. We are an optimistic bunch. We believe there can be a great turning in which we learn a better way to live and a more loving way to live. We are rooted in love, and we are rooted in the hope for a better way. And if that doesn't resonate with you, I would be glad to talk about it. When the board was talking about redesigning the wall in the ballroom, someone said, how about we put up that beautiful image I've seen online with the 7 petals, each one containing a different word. Words like love, justice, compassion. And that image is on the wall now, out there. We can give newcomers a quick glance at who we are. But those 7 words were selected by another organization that went through an elaborate process to choose their words. So I said, let's choose 7 words ourselves. What 7 words reveal who we are, how we find meaning, how we orient our lives? So on the wall beside it now is a question: what are your words? What words are you rooted in? And many of you have answered, and please add your words to the wall after the service. It could be your 3 words, 7 words, 1 word, whatever you have. And this is not about changing our foundational statement. The idea is simply to get a snapshot of how we describe ourselves today. I actually had mixed feelings about doing this. Do we have the bandwidth right now for this? Some of us just need to come together as a respite from the world. Tend to each other's spirits. That's all we have the bandwidth for. But C.S. Lewis said that spiritual consolation is not enough on a Sunday morning. If you're going to a religious community for consolation, you will not find it. He says that religion is much bigger than that. Okay, yes, you can find consolation in religion, but only if you step into a much larger story. So I'm not here to console you in these times, or rather, I'm not here solely to console you. Instead, I am here to remind you that you are part of a much larger story. Sunday morning can be a time of rest, but our intention is not to have a vacation from life. Vacation means to vacate, to let go of, to float away from your problems in a vacuum. The notion of vacation can be appealing when you overwhelmingly need a break, but vacation merely gives you consolation for your problems. Better than vacation is Sabbath. Sabbath means resting by going to your well. Sabbath means circling around your fire, our fire. Sabbath is not merely rest, but rejuvenation. It's not a break, but an expansion of spirit that restores. Sabbath is not a holiday, but a holy day. And it doesn't need to be a full day. You can take a holy breath, have a holy moment. Sing "Morning is Broken" when you wake up in the morning. And then find holy moments that keep your spirit singing throughout the day. Return to your well often. So what is your well? What is your North Star? Amidst the tumults and the strife, what tethers you to the eternal? In the eye of the storm, what air are you breathing? Let's actually take a moment to meditate on that. What are you rooted in? What's your North Star? If you had to sum it up in 3 words or 5 words, 1 word, what would those words be? Let's take a few breaths to reflect. Pam has been considering this and has prepared a reflection, and then after Pam, I will share my answer, and then we will pass the microphone.
I'm not 6'8". And I would just like to make a point that 3 of the players on Team Canada are Nova Scotian. Talk about my nationalism. A few weeks ago, Tristan played a piece by Chopin. When I Zoom services, as I was that day, I always sit at my dining room table in the same posture as I do when attending a meeting. I don't know why I do that. And in the winter, I have a fire burning in the nearby wood stove. That Sunday, though, I was so moved by the music to move to a chair in front of the fire and beside the window where I could listen while simultaneously enjoying the fire more, as well as the softly falling snow in the woods and over the pond. And it was an unexpected holy moment. I've always felt a relationship between words, music, and the natural world. To prepare these very brief words at Ben's request, I contemplated moments in my life and the words that I associate with them. And I can see in my memories special trees, a beach, a field, bonfires, a frozen waterfall. A January afternoon in 1978 when the sun shone through the ice-covered trees, making everything sparkle. I remember a sky filled with stars that you don't see in the city. I remember the unexpected wildlife, the jackrabbit who came to look at me when I was reading, a moose and her calves in my backyard one morning, the sound of a wild cat at night, the eagle that swooped over my car as I was driving on a highway. And I can almost capture the divine in the memories alone. If I had a personal theme song, it would be Leonard Cohen's "Like a Bird on the Wire, Like a Drunk in a Midnight Choir. I have tried in my way to be free." The song goes on to express the paradox of two vulnerable outcasts calling out to the poet, with one admonishing him that he must not ask for so much, and the other crying to him, "Hey, why not ask for more?" And I take from that the eternal struggle of always wanting to do more for the collective good, while at the same time struggling to deny myself of things I love, like Florida oranges, driving through Vermont, or shopping at Chapters. J.S. Woodworth, who was a Methodist minister and the founder of the CCF, which later became the NDP for people that aren't history geeks, he wrote a grace which says this, it has this one line in it that I love. What we desire for ourselves, we wish for all. Jack Layton said, love is better than anger. Hope is better than fear. Optimism is better than despair. And those are the words that illustrate what roots me. A reminder that I don't have to settle. I can strive towards a better world, to be free in myself, but also in my doings, to ensure those things for the collective. What I desire for myself, I wish for all. And when living my life in the wild, to be reminded that love, hope, and optimism are the greatest strengths.
Thank you, Pam. Beautiful. And thank you, Tristan, for inspiring Pam's nature connection. Pam, one thing I liked is that in your theme song, there are two voices in tension. I don't really know what you are committed to until I know what else you are committed to and how those two things interact. I value truth, so I like to tell it like it is, but I also value compassion, so sometimes I tell white lies. I value individual flourishing and collective flourishing. They can both complement each other, but they are also in tension. If you focus on one value to the exclusion of all others, you can quickly discover that your value has a shadow side. So for example, the caring neighbor takes it too far and becomes a busybody. So when I take an interest in your core values, I'm especially interested in ones that balance each other or hold each other in tension. There is a book called And by Barry Johnson, which explores how to hold two values in tension. So do you value the individual or the group? Both. Do you value us or them? Both. Yin or yang? Both. Good or evil? Trick question. What's a trick question? When someone is being evil, it's tempting to say that what we need is the opposite of that. Someone is being extremely selfish. The reaction might be a call for extreme generosity and collectivism, possibly, when what we need is a healthy balance of the self and the group. When there's bad behavior in the world today, it can be tempting to fight fire with fire, to feel nationalism light up our veins. Or it can be tempting to simply criticize behavior and call for its opposite, rather than naming a healthy version and finding a healthy balance. Instead of saying that selfishness is bad, we could say we need a healthy balance of the individual and the group. And this is baked into our UU principles. The first principle honors the individual, and the seventh principle honors the interdependent web. So these days, one of the things I'm rooted in is an attitude of both and. When the wind is howling and the waves are rolling, it can be helpful to keep an eye on your compass and remember where you're headed. This might be in your home life, your neighborhood, the larger world. Staying grounded is good for the soul. So let's take a moment again to recall what you are rooted in, what provides meaning, direction to your life, especially when you need it the most. And when someone is ready to share, we will pass the microphone. And if you would come up here so that people could see you on Zoom, like stand in front of the camera. What are you rooted in general, or especially in these times?
Good morning. I'm Andrea, she, her pronouns. I'm new to Halifax and glad to be among you. I come from First Unitarian Church in Hamilton. I appreciated your challenge to find complementary roots and values. So what came to my mind is courage, because without courage you can't live any other value, but also humility, to be willing to reflect and open to other perspectives.
Mary Lou, I'm guessing you've got a couple of pages written in your head. Very thoughtful. You don't have to follow my challenge and have complimentary ones, but I really appreciated that.
Oh, well, I can. I was thinking when you mentioned about.
Can you face the camera?
Oh.
So people can
What
move
camera?
over. This one. Right over there. It's right.
Oh, hi, sorry. When you mentioned about giving up some stuff, this 28th, I got a message from Mary Ellen Ono, and I think we should all try it. And that is to not shop at Costco or any of the big American chain stores, Walmarts. There's all sorts of them. In fact, they're everywhere. But on that day, we can be committed to do that, because if everybody across Canada does that, it does send a message. I'm not saying we forever do that, because there's lots of Canadians who shop at those stores too. And sometimes there's good value. Anyway, it's just one thing that we do value, and that's our independence and our strength. Thanks.
What day was that?
That's the 28th of February. Friday, yeah. It comes before next week, so I thought we should get it in now. Thanks.
Okay. Knowing from the newsletter what Ben was going to be talking about today, I actually have been thinking about it a fair bit this week. And I decided if I have to get down to one word, that hope is the one I would use. Now that's partly because I'm a humanist anyway, but it's also because I'm getting old. And when you go to bed at night at 91, you hope you're going to get up in the morning. And you hope that tomorrow is going to unfold in a positive way. So my one word is hope.
Thank you, Mary Lou. And let's go to Gina online. Gina, whenever you're ready, you can unmute and then go ahead.
Hi, I'm in Stratford, PEI, and I'm a new. I don't know what if I have to do to become a member, but I'm a new attendee at Zoom. I don't know what to say about myself, but I thought I'd do the values that you're talking about. I think independence and interdependence are important. People want to be independent and truly self-determined, and yet they have to recognize the interdependence of life and the interdependence with nature and with other people. And I think from what I've read about the Unitarian Church and what I've read of William Ellery Channing, I've read. It's difficult to know whether it's William Ellery Channing, the transcendental poet, the son of William Ellery Channing, the preacher, because it's the same name and they don't use senior or junior. But it resonated with me, some of the quotations I've read and what I've read about the Unitarian Church. So I'm really happy to be here, and I hope to be at other meetings and to participate. Nice to listen to such caring people, and I'll talk to you again.
Good to meet you, Gina. Just noticing if anyone else has a burning desire to go. Hope, we have another hope. Hope, anyone else? Hope, we have hope in the back. Oh, no, sorry. So I don't know why I did that. Just, awesome. If you even if you have or haven't said your word, I encourage you to write it on the wall in the ballroom. Thank you so much for being so thoughtful about what your life is rooted in. So please rise in body or spirit for a closing hymn. It's Fire of Commitment. The words are going up on the screen, and it's number 1028 in the Teal hymnal. now to extinguish our chalice. So may we carry with us the warmth of compassion, the glow of love, the fire of commitments, and the light of truth.
Did you announce what the beverage is?
Yes, right now there's some mulled cranberry juice punch available out in the ballroom. We'll get it out there really quick, as well as the coffee as usual. I gotta be honest, the cranberry punch, it's said to add sugar. I added sugar. Should not have added sugar. And there's a no prep book club that starts right in here at 11:45.
What's the book?
Any book. We each can come with and share whatever we want about any book that we love. Yeah, a no preparation book club. The last one was fabulous. And open mic night is Wednesday. Our service is over.